Hi there! Today I'll be reading to you all Season 4 of what could have been My Little Pony live from Equestria. Again, if you didn't watch the first three, I highly recommend that you do. Chronologically, of course. Also, I'd like to point out that in the most recent video, my nose was all stuffy. This is because I have a cold. Not to worry though, I ate some jalapeños to decongest my nose, so hopefully it stays better this time around. It's also for that reason that I won't be wearing my flannel today. Now, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? As much as I don't want to read you all this episode, I think that it would be wise if I just get it out there. I know psychologists have said that exposing kids to this kind of stuff at a young age can be hazardous. That's kind of why I originally made it an adults-only episode. But for the sake of this video, I might as well just read you the description. I'll warn you, it's something that's also based on personal experience and hurts almost every time I try to talk about it, but here we go. The episode is called Something Controversial. In the episode, Applejack's cousin Brayburn, who I want to be played by Clay Aiken, is getting married to another stallion. However, when Applejack finds out that Foxtrot is a part of an anti-gay marriage group, she tries as hard as she can not to let one find out about the other. We also get to learn some more about Foxtrot's history, when Foxtrot's friends keep pressuring him on telling him about why he's such a right-wing extremist. He finally gives in and tells them his story. After dating Spitfire, Foxtrot fell in love with a filly by the name of Tootie. He wanted her so bad because he was trying to get over his breakup with Spitfire, but he was so afraid of getting his heart broken again that he didn't try to ask her out. He'd come close, but with no avail. This went on for a couple of years. After that couple of years, he finally worked up the courage to ask her out. But right when he was about to do so, he found Tootie making out with another filly. This angered and frustrated him for the rest of his life. Then, after his story, Hi-Hat says to him, "Wait a minute, you hate gays because a girl that you like turned out to be gay? Immaturity at its finest." At that point, Foxtrot says, "Immature? Immature? Is this immature?" and then punches Hi-Hat in the stomach. Foxtrot then tells him, "Listen here, Marmite, you don't know my life, you know what I've been through, so who the hell are you to talk down to me?" Baseline and Arpeggio try to calm him down, but Foxtrot runs out of the studio, vowing to put an end to Brayburn's marriage once and for all, even if it means he kills him. In the end, however, everything works out. His friend stopped him and brought out a special guest to talk to him, Tootie. Tootie told him some stuff to convince Foxtrot not to do anything stupid, tells Foxtrot that he already hooked up with a wonderful mare, and all is well. I'd tell you all some background about how I came up with this story, but it's just so painful to talk about. I bet that if we actually put the show on the air, and I'm voicing Foxtrot, my yells and tears would be genuine. I don't want to say any more about this episode, so I'll just get on to the next one if that's alright with you. Enough tears for now. Let's get on to the next episode. Y'all don't come back now, you hear? In this episode, Trixie plans to get back at Foxtrot for not giving in to her advances, which also includes sabotaging his band's upcoming show at the Sweet Apple Acres in a Looney Tunes-esque fashion. Meanwhile, Baseline falls in love with a fellow stallion, but when she finally gets to him, he turns out to be almost completely ignorant as she is. One of the things that Trixie does is that she puts some explosive in Hi-Hat's bass drum, set to go off when they hit the key change and they cover the Backstreet Boys. I want it that way. However, the band doesn't play the key change, so the explosive doesn't go off. We also learn of why Trixie is a boastful narcissist. Apparently, she has always wanted to impress her father, who was also a magician. Foxtrot and the gang get an idea and surprise Trixie one day by bringing in her father, who I wanted to be played by Chris Angel, who tells Trixie that he was always proud of her. It's yet another sentimental episode by the end. I haven't really come up with much for the B story featuring Baseline and her new boyfriend Soda Pop, but that's okay. It's almost always the A story that matters, right? My Sisters in Love is yet another love story. There seem to be a lot of them in my show, huh? But anyway, in the episode, Big Macintosh is caught in a love triangle with Foxglove and Rainbow Dash, much to Foxtrot's dismay. Meanwhile, in reprisal to both of his sisters wanting to get to one of his best friends, Foxtrot decides to be a bad brother to both of them. Foxtrot is just really overprotective of his sisters, even if he only found out just recently that they were just his sisters. And Rainbow Dash is only his half-sister. Well, I happen to have a half-brother, and he tries to help me in certain situations too. There's this one time last year on June 26, 2015, where I went apeshit crazy on Facebook, and my half-brother was there to sell things down. He kind of did sell things down, but everybody was still mad at me, and I was still mad at them. Anyway, at the end of the episode, Big Macintosh decides to go with Foxglove. I haven't really come up with much stuff in this episode, but that's alright. Ah, yet another pedisode. This one has kind of a cliche lesson, but it's pretty much worth it. In the episode, Coda's pet hawk Horatio starts dating Princess Celestia's pet phoenix, Philomena, or however you say her name. But anyway, Horatio's friends try to talk him out of dating her, but it proves too late when Philomena, or however you say her name, starts shedding. She tries as hard as she can to hide her shedding, but in the end she cannot hide it anymore. Horatio, however, says that no matter what, she'll still be her, and that won't change anything. I know, as I said, it's pretty cliche, but it's worth learning, right? It's also pretty sweet, regardless of how cheesy it is. This episode's kind of dark for a kid's show because it deals with murder. It's called Equestrian Fried Homicide. In the episode, the Royal Equestrian Monarchy, save for shining armor, proposes a vote to have murder between spouses legal if one of them commits an infidelity. This law comes into effect when Foxtrot catches Shining Armor making out with Baseline. The real reason why Shining Armor abstained from the vote is because the Royal Equestrian Monarchy has a reputation for making some stupid decisions, and this is no exception. Despite making out with Baseline, Shining Armor is basically the voice of reason among the group. He knows when the monarchy is making bad decisions, but often gets left out. In the end, however, though Princess Cadence is pissed off, what really happened is that after Shining Armor abstained from the vote by leaving the room, everybody else said that the proposal was a stupid idea and voted nay on it. The B story is Applejack searching for something to make her cooking taste better, but the A story is where it's at. Why do I keep making most of my episodes with an unrelated B story? In the episode Button's favorite band, it's Spirit Week at the Ponyville School, and one of the days is Rock and Roll Day, when the students come to school with band t-shirts. Many Colton Phillies come to school wearing Equestrian Roulette t-shirts, including Miss Shirley, and many get mad at Button, who's the only one who shows up with a broken horseshoe t-shirt. This basically shows how serious some fans take band rivalries. The Equestrian Roulette Broken Horseshoe rivalry is almost like the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, with Equestrian Roulette playing the part of Michigan and Broken Horseshoe playing the part of Ohio State. I'm going to get hunted down by a bunch of Ohio State fans now. A Date with Derpy 3, Dinner for 4, is yet another installment of the Date with Derpy episodes. In this one, Derpy recruits Hi-Hat, Arpeggio, and Foxglove to help prevent a hostage situation at the restaurant in the Crystal Empire. However, Derpy threatens to resign from the spy organization when Hi-Hat is proven to be a much better leader than her. I think it's because of the fact that both of them have British accents. If you're confused about why Derpy has a British accent, I'm presuming that you didn't heed my words at the beginning and you didn't watch the outlines of the first 3 seasons. Anyway, in Season 2, which is where the Date with Derpy episode started, I suggested that Derpy's British voice be played by Grammy-winning singer Adele. You may be thinking, Ryan, you do know that the network's money is not unlimited, right? Well, if Weird Al Yankovic is also a Grammy-winning singer and the original show casted him, then I'm sure that I can do the same thing. In yet another episode where I didn't come up with much for the whole story, the Fluttershy effect is a parody of the butterfly effect. In the episode, when Fluttershy starts getting frequent breakdowns and migraines, Coda and Hi-Hat found it's because she's been repressing some bad events from her younger days. Hi-Hat and Coda found out a way for her to change these things, but with disastrous results. I try not to put too many time travel episodes in the show because I'm not a big fan of time travel stories due to the fact that they often end up in some sort of paradox and because they're really hard to follow. That's part of the reason why I don't like Doctor Who. Yes, I'll admit right now that I don't really like Doctor Who, but don't hate me for it, alright? Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but you may be asking, well, why do you hate brony haters? Aren't they entitled to their own opinions? Well, allow me to revamp. Everybody except for brony haters are entitled for their own opinions. Biased? Sure, but they kind of deserve it, right? Now, this episode is named after the B story, something quite uncommon, but you'll see it sometimes. It's called Jewel Journey. In the episode, Rainbow Dash tries hard not to tell Foxtrot that she's dating Chad for Broken Horseshoe. However, in the end, though Foxtrot is considerably mad at her own half-sister dating his nemesis, he still wants her to be happy, so he allows her to date him. Meanwhile, Spike, Rarity, Sweetie and Arpeggio try to find a long-lost jewel mine. When they get there, they find out that the mine belongs to two special dragons. Care to take a guess on who these dragons are? Well, even though they were never really mentioned in the original show, these dragons happen to be Spike's parents. Four initially started looking for the jewel mine with the intention of taking every jewel imaginable. However, when they learn that Spike's parents are the owners of that jewel mine, they decide to be modest, but Spike's parents see their humbleness and let the four take as many jewels as they want. They don't mind since the two own a buttload of jewel mines. Again, I didn't watch the original show, so I don't know much about Spike's parents. Perhaps they died, I don't know. But remember, my show was thought up of before Season 4 of the original show, remember? Alright, it's highly crucial. Lights, Camera, Action, Repeat is, as the title suggests, an episode about filming. Foxtrot and Hi-Hat write an independent film, but while shooting, they find themselves to be carried away with the acting, thus making the story of love, betrayal, and infidelity almost too convincing. For example, there's a scene where Foxtrot has to sleep with Fluttershy, but when Hi-Hat catches them, he goes ballistic. It's almost too convincing, to be honest. Even after the director, whoever that may be, says cut, Hi-Hat is still wailing on Foxtrot. That's basically how serious Hi-Hat is taking this. Oh, also, the episode guest stars Kevin Sorbo as himself. I decided on Kevin Sorbo because I like the movie God's Not Dead. I know the movie received bad reviews, but you gotta admit, everything in the movie was accurate, right? If you think not, then you're a bigot. I'm just kidding. I'm not a social justice warrior faggot like all the rest. Appletrot Anniversary. This episode is just as it says. Foxtrot wants to do something special for Applejack for their anniversary of when they hooked up, but all of the things that he tries to do end in catastrophe. At the end of the episode, Applejack tells Foxtrot that he didn't really have to do much. As long as he remembered, that's all that matters. I know, it's yet another cliche plot device, but it teaches a good lesson on humbleness. I sometimes think that everybody could learn from this, not just ladies, some guys can be spoiled too. But all in all, it's the thought that counts, right? Nah, who am I kidding? That's a stupid lesson. I don't know why I came up with this episode in the first place. This episode has two working titles because the first one is a bit lengthy. It's either called Bawada Bada Banga Dang Ziggy 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 or simply Ziggy Rock. Upon learning that Ziggy can sing fast, the band asks him if he wants to be a special guest for an upcoming show. However, Ziggy has to overcome his sporadic shocks. This was also pretty much Justin's idea. I had little to do with it. I did suggest some featured music in the episode, which consists of Bawada Ba by Kid Rock, The Red Hot by Robert Johnson, and an original by Equestria Roulette. Again, as I said, I didn't really come up with much for this episode. It was mostly Justin's idea, but don't blame him for it, he's only trying. In the Computer Chronicles, Coda makes a custom-made computer for Equestria Roulette so that they can make their songs sound better, but without completely changing everything. But tensions rise when Broken Horseshoe steals it. There's also this scene in the episode where the band gets their computer back from Broken Horseshoe Studio, but to piss them off even more, Roulette decides to trash Horseshoe Studio. While they're doing this, the song Rise Above by Black Flag is playing in the background. After that, I didn't really come up with much. Come to think of it, I think this was also Justin's idea. I guess Justin should handle all the episodes that he creates, huh? In the episode Rabid Rabbit, Fluttershy chews out Foxtrot for accidentally flooding her house. Foxtrot gets revenge by giving Angel rabies. Meanwhile, Baseline and Coda get stuck in quicksand in the Everfree Forest. Alright, I'm going to be honest here, I didn't come up with much for this episode, and the episode was my idea, not Justin's. I guess that I didn't think this through, huh? No matter, this episode doesn't have much significance anyway. And I know the picture is not a rabid rabbit, but I couldn't really find a picture of a rabid rabbit. Here's an episode with a bit more significance. It's called Whammy. In the episode, a new kid arrives at school. His name is Whammy, and what is his passion? That's right, playing guitar. He joined the CMC, much to Button's dismay, which, with this new addition, one of the members gets the hots for him. Meanwhile, Roulette and Horseshoe are preparing for another battle of the bands. The one who gets the hots for Whammy is Diamond Tiara, And the reason why Button is skeptical of letting Whammy into the CMC is because Button is the only Colt in the CMC, so letting Whammy in would threaten him being the sole male member. Anyway, the winner of the band battles in the CMC, I did not make a mistake. The CMC decided to enter the Battle of the Bands and they won thanks to Whammy. But when you think about it, excessive Whammy bar tricks are overrated and the CMC pretty much won because they're just kids. But as long as there's something to relieve the tension between a roulette and horseshoe. This is probably one of the saddest episodes that I've come up with. Well, besides something controversial. This one is called Blue Moon over Equestria. In the episode, when King Tesla is found unconscious in one of the power plants, it's revealed that Queen Chrysalis is back and wants to destroy the entire land of Equestria again. This leads to a battle between the ponies of Equestria and Queen Chrysalis' minions. Though the battle is successful for the Equestrian ponies, Queen Chrysalis decides to do one last act of evil before leaving Equestria. What happens is that Queen Chrysalis stabs Princess Luna, followed by Foxtrot. I don't know if I'm allowed to show that, perhaps off screen as I don't show any blood. But anyway, as Luna and Foxtrot are dying, Foxtrot asks his mother, "Mom, are we gonna die?" Luna replies, "I'm afraid so, son, but don't worry. Take my hooves and we'll pray one last time." At that point, Applejack runs over to Foxtrot, and after he's done praying, tells Applejack that he loves her and not to forget him. Foxtrot gives Applejack one last kiss before he breathes his last breath. Then everybody gathers around the two dead ponies and Applejack, while Applejack is weeping. The scene then switches to the royal funeral, which takes place on the moon, where Princess Luna spent most of her time and Foxtrot was born. It's at that funeral that Hi-Hat sings an edited version of Candle in the Wind 97 by Elton John. As they lower the caskets into the ground, the scene fades to black, then fades in on Foxtrot's face. He wakes up and looks around him, which is mostly clouds. He calls out, "Mom, are you there?" Princess Luna answers, "Yes, son, I'm here." He then goes over to her and asks her what's going on. Princess Luna says that she doesn't know. Then a pony enters saying, "I think I can be of assistance." He then directs them to follow him. He leads them to a group of ponies and tells them that this is the Dead Pony Society, a group of dead ponies dedicated to eliminating evil spirits around Equestria, similar to the movie R.I.P.D. Anyway, Foxtrot and Princess Luna train to be a part of the Dead Pony Society and are successful. They help eliminate a whole bunch of evil spirits in Equestria. Meanwhile, back in the physical world, everybody involved with the dead ponies give up almost all hope for Equestria. Princess Celestia cannot control the land with one member of the royal equestrian monarchy gone, and the land is in shambles. Applejack is in total grief after her boyfriend's death, and Equestrian Roulette tries to fill in the gap that Foxtrot left, but with no avail, and disband Equestrian Roulette. The leader of the Dead Pony Society sees this, and despite Luna and Foxtrot making great strides in eliminating evil spirits, tell them that they need to go back home. The leader of the Dead Pony Society leads them back to their caskets on the moon and bids them goodbye. After they re-enter their physical bodies, they use their magic to get out of their respective caskets, and also use their magic to illuminate the moon to get the ponies of Equestria to go back there. When they arrive, they are bewildered at the fact that Foxtrot and Princess Luna are back. Applejack runs up to Foxtrot and they share a passionate kiss. Equestrian Roulette reunites and all is well again. Truly one of my favorite episodes. I know I keep saying that for many episodes, but I do like this episode a lot. It's sweet, sentimental, and makes you think about the people that you may take for granted one day. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. I'll see you until next time for Season 5, but until then, goodbye.